sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TD PHINS TALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Yeah, we got a late night stream, live stream right now. Just sitting back thinking to myself, here we are as fans of the Miami Dolphins, and we want this team to always do well, but that's not always the case. Sometimes they are just going to screw it up, and we could talk about all the bad things all we want, but you know what? Maybe we should just take some time to just talk about, what we need moving forward. Some of the positive things, some of the things, what should we be looking for going forward that can really help the team be a good team? So I came up with a list of 5 things the Miami Dolphins need to compete for a Super Bowl. And as we rebuild and we search for a general manager and decide what we want to do with our coach and quarterback and all of that, these are things that the Dolphins need to do so that we can actually be a legitimate team in Super Bowl contention. So we're going to go over those things tonight. But before we do, I want you to know our official sponsor, Sleeper, is basically supporting this video. You get an opportunity to get $100 deposit match up to $100 if you use the code TDPHINS with Sleeper. Okay, they are a proud sponsor of the channel this NFL season. And they also are giving you the opportunity to get a $20 entry with no deposit needed. Okay. That way you can get a little feel of it, go on Sleeper, download it, use my code and play the $20 and see how you do. And then you go from there. Okay. So take advantage of that opportunity. If you want to. Supporting the sponsor is supporting the channel. All right. Now, let's get into it. Let me check in with the chat real quick. Let me see who all's rocking with us tonight. Shout out to the homie JD the Great, Doug Williams, man. Love you. Flick Shorts already dropped in a donation. Said, man, you saw what Ward did in the fourth quarter versus Texans. I didn't. I'll have to go back and check it out. I've been disconnected from Tennessee for a few weeks now. Hollywood, what up, homie? Color in the building, man. The homie is over here, said, don't y'all gotta work tomorrow? Hey, man, every day is work and all day is work. It's a grind, all right? This is my day off. I work tonight. Like it. Tua is GOAT. Color BOFA in the building. Omnaron, man, oh man. What up, TD? Checking in. Salute to you, brother. Hey, get your fantasy up, man, because you struggling no more in fantasy football. And I know y'all see the bandage on my hand. Yeah, your boy had a rough day today. I burnt my hand on the stove today. So it was on and didn't know, and I just put my hand down and bam, got me. And it hurts really bad, but I'm gonna be all right. Elder Bruce Jones is in the house. All right, that's what's up. All right, man, let's get into it. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do on this list, I'm gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in importance, in my opinion. Okay. 5 being the least important, but they're all equally important. In order for this team to be taken serious moving forward, there has to be some standards. Okay. The Stephen Ross has to set standards, and here are some of the standards that have to happen for Miami, and you can compete for a Super Bowl every year. Okay, legitimate competitors. All right, number 5, and we're going 5 through 1. The Dolphins need a good scouting team. The Miami Dolphins need a good scouting team. You know, it's like, when is the last time we scouted something and we were like, oh man, look at this 5th rounder, this 6th rounder, this 7th rounder, this undrafted player? How often do we hit in that area? Can y'all name some of the, 5th, 6th, 7th rounders or undrafted players that have been a long-term success for the Dolphins? I'm sure we may be able to find less than a handful of them, but that's the problem. We gotta do better in this area. We have to. We need a better scouting team. Okay, Zach Sealer, one of them. And wasn't he from Baltimore? Hollywood said that's actually a top 3 thing for me. Well, let's see, because I got a 4, 3, 2, 1. So you got to hear some more of the list to see if scouting beats any of these other ones. Okay, but we got to do better scouting, man. Low key real organizations that have great scouting teams, they find those 5th, 6th, 7th round gems and those undrafted players. It's like having a 53-man roster. If you can have, like, legitimately, I'm not talking about the back end of the roster. I'm talking about, how we talk about starters, right? 10, 11 on defense, 11 on offense. I always call it the top 22. And I don't include special teams and all of that, but I always say top 22, right? If you can find a way to have 5 guys out of those 22 that were 5th, 6th, 7th, or undrafted, you're doing something. Now, I ain't saying just have guys that fall under that criteria. I'm talking about these guys are actually good. Like, man, we got like 4 or 5 guys on this roster, 3 on offense, 2 on defense, 3 on defense, 2 on offense, whatever order. We got some guys on here that's balling. No, we'll have a 1 or a 2 that we recall. We'll have 1 or 2. And that's a reflection of your scouting department. You should be able to find steals because you searched the country and all the colleges, D1, D2, up and down for the talent that you were looking for. You scavenged it all and you found a few things that you kept quiet and you kept reporting back. And you said on draft day or undraft, this kid probably is going to undrafted, but you got to bring him in for camp. This kid right here, he's a 2nd round talent, but everybody has him down as a 5th round talent. We got to get him. That's what we need. We don't have that. And the proof is in the pudding. Because, some people would defend people and say, oh, well, our scouting department, we got some really good people who've been scouting. I'm not talking about these people that's been scouting for 40 years. And then nothing against the people that's been scouting for 40 years. But what I mean by that is I'm not talking about these people that's been scouting for 40 years. Like, the game has changed. The game has evolved. So don't tell me about all the people we got in the front office that's been scouting 20, 30 years. They're good scouts. Yeah, well, where's the results? And I'm seeing y'all in the comment section writing things like Andrew Van Ginkel, Cater Cole, Zach Sealer. You see how few in between that is, though? I'll add some Nick Needham, guys like that. But it's few in between. Out of the 22 guys on our roster right now, do we have 5 of them that fits that criteria that start and they're actually good, proven? No. It's what winning organizations do. It's what they have. So that's number 5 for me. A good scouting team, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all let me know in the comment section what you think about that. Do you agree that the Miami Dolphins need a good scouting team if they want to be taken serious as Super Bowl contenders? Okay. Let me say this too. What a good scouting team also allows you is the opportunity to save money. They allow you the opportunity to save money. They're making league minimum, but starting. Teams that have that tend to have better depth because they can put the money in depth. If I got a 6th rounder that's starting and balling, man, he's playing like a $8 million a year guy at that position. Now I can go get a $6 million a year guy because I'm only paying him 1. I can go get depth. That's what it allows. It saves you money in the long run. And also a good scouting department is going to keep funneling these players in. I brought you an all-pro corner 4 years ago. 4 years later, you owe me another one. The scouting department owe me another one 4 years from now. Or 3 years from now. Because it's also the scouting department's job to allow the team to not pay their stars. That's right, I said it. Everybody, oh my gosh, we never pay our stars. We need to reward them for the contract they earn. You a lie. A good scouting department is going to allow me to not pay my stars because the guy behind the star is just as good of him, and he about to be a star for 4 years. Then we gonna replace him. Not only are we gonna replace him, but we gonna trade him and get some big assets as well in the process. Like, I want y'all to think about what winning organizations do. They'll have a 6th round player ball out so much. 3 years later, the scouting department got another gym for him. They bring that new gym in. The new one plays behind the star that you've created. And the new one gets a few reps and balling out himself. Now it's contract time for the original star. No. We're going to trade you. Let me go get me a 2nd round pick or a 1st round pick. Bam. You still young. So I just turned a 6th round pick to a 2nd or a 1st round pick, and I got to save all that money and not paying them on the back end, and the new guy is in, and I just upgraded with a better draft pick to utilize now. A good scouting department is massive. Of how easy the job can be at the top. The more talent you can have at a cheaper price is so important. Let's move along to number 4. The Miami Dolphins need this in order to really compete for a Super Bowl. A good coaching staff. I didn't say just the head coach. A good coaching staff, not including the head coach. I'm not even at the head coach. Just a good coaching staff. You need a staff who can also develop talent. That is another thing. See, the scouting department's job is to find things that others won't, that others can't, because the players have the intangibles your staff can work with, but your staff got to bring it home. The coaching staff got to take that player that nobody would have believed in, but you saw the scouting department saw the talent. The coaching staff has to take that player and mold them into what they visioned through coaching, whether that's motivating, whether that's coaching the technique, coaching fundamentals, the importance of repetition, motivating them to put the work in, to get to the next level, to be sharper in their craft every day. This is what the position coaches of the entire coaching staff, minus the head coach, because that's a whole bigger role. But your whole coaching staff should be leaders of men, developers, actual great coaches. They can determine within a player whether the issue is skill versus will. If it's skill, we can fix it. If it's will, you got to go. Motivating, communicating, building a relationship with the players and growing with them, while having accountability and immense structure surrounding it. You got to have a good coaching staff. That's why sometimes you see one coach look bad and then another coach comes and change a unit around. Coaches, you have to find the best coaches you can find, and not just at the head coach. We're talking about position coaches, unit coaches, coordinators, all of that stuff. You got to have that staff intact, a good one. A coaching staff that's not about themselves, but about the head coach's message, delivering what the head coach's expectations are. That's what you need. Let's move along to number 3. Number 5 was a good scouting team. Number 4, a good coaching staff. Number 3, you need a franchise quarterback. In order to consistently compete for Super Bowls, you need a franchise quarterback. Please tell me the quarterback that wasn't a franchise quarterback that was consistently competing for Super Bowls. Please tell me. That's one thing. Every team that's constantly competing for a Super Bowl, every team that's constantly competing for a Super Bowl, they have a franchise quarterback. That's something they all have in common. Yeah, you can have your one-offs, but the name of the game isn't just, we competed that 1 year out of 30. Because that's where we're headed. Maybe we can compete 1 year out of 30 because we're 0 for 26 now. We're not talking about that one-off. We're talking about building a culture of consistent success in competing. And my definition now of competing for a Super Bowl, everybody who makes it past wild card round, they are competing for a Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, if we're going to be technical, all 32 teams week 1 competing for a Super Bowl. But if we're going to break it down and just talk normal without being so technical, the teams that make it past the first round, those were your legitimate contenders. Every year, 8 teams legitimately contending for a Super Bowl, a quarter of the league. That's the reality. That's the reality, man. And you want to go look at trends, you trend that. 8 teams every year are true contenders. Now, there could be more. The problem is a quarterback got hurt or whatever it may have been, but that's typically the only thing that can derail a team is the quarterback really getting hurt. We've seen teams do it where the O-line has got obliterated. We've seen teams do it where the receiving core was obliterated. We've seen teams do it where the pass rush was everybody got hurt. But you lose the quarterback, that makes sense. It's not often teams still can go the distance without their quarterback. But you need a franchise quarterback. You need a quarterback, number one, who can walk it like they talk it, who can go on the field and earn the respect of their teammates through their play, who can hold their teammates accountable without anybody feeling offended because they are without question the unsung leader. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this year we had some issues where our quarterback said some things, made some people in the locker room upset about it. They felt he could have went to them. Let me be clear. If Patrick Mahomes had said that, there wouldn't have been a peeping person in that organization that would have questioned him saying it, nor would there have been anybody crying about he could have came to me personally. If Josh Allen had said that, Josh Allen is the sheriff around here. There is no wrong he does. Patrick Mahomes is the sheriff. Lamar Jackson is the sheriff. You are out of line if you think you're going to say, oh, he should have did that in private. That's just the cold-hearted reality. Nobody would have cared. But people all of a sudden care because of the quarterback we have. Where who is he to say something? Because he out there throwing picks too. He out there hurting us too. I don't care nothing about being late or on time to meetings. You on time and leading the league in interceptions. If you're what we're supposed to follow, you're on time to meetings and you lead the league in interceptions. Think players truly respect that? They might have respect for you as a person, but as a leader, they'll prop you up. You got to be able to go out on that field and do Supermanish type things so that people in the organization will say, that's the sheriff. They don't answer to nobody because they've carried us. They've put us on their back. So how dare we scoff at them in their moments of being down? This is why your stars rarely get criticized when they throw 4 interceptions. Oh, he wasn't good in that one, but you know. But other guys, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. Yeah, because it is. A franchise quarterback, first one in the building, last one to leave. Accountability, accountability, accountability. But above all, you gotta back it up yourself. Like, ladies and gentlemen, in the most barbaric sport Like like this is a violent sport. You gotta, at a minimum, hold your own before somebody will ride with you. You gotta be able to at least hold your own. It's like this is the all-star game. You got to make every game feel like the all-star game, and they know that you the all-star. Not another player like them. Every team needs a quarterback who's on a whole nother level than the rest of the roster. Like Tom Brady. I don't care who was on that roster. They ain't bigger than Tom Brady. It don't matter who on the roster. You ain't bigger than the quarterback, but you got to have a quarterback who nobody's really legitimately bigger than. Tyreek was the biggest thing on this roster for years. You can't have that. You think Tyreek was the biggest thing on the roster in Kansas City? No. Respect is earned, but there are a few sub factors that nobody talk about. And one of the main ones that nobody talk about, see, they just think that you could be a leader because of what you say. But I'm telling y'all, in leadership, this is the piece that I'm telling you, this is the piece that, you know, they do not talk about with leadership. You got to know your stuff. You have to have something that stands out so much from a leadership standpoint. You got to, at a minimum, you got to be able to do your own job well. People will never respect it. It's just life. It's human nature. You ain't got to be better than me, but you better at least be able to hold your own down. Sidetrack, BOFA. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. You're saying TD is trying to make this channel entertaining. Absolutely. I'll always do that. That's all. He can't outright poop on Tua because of subs, etc. He has to play all the cards. You confuse me on the back end. I can't outright poop on Tua because of subs. I don't know how long you've been rocking with me, bro. I think it's been for a while, but this makes me wonder because I've lost over 20,000 subscribers because I've been honest about Tua. I had the analytics over the last 4 years. I have where 4 years ago, like literally, I'll tell you no lie, 4 years ago, I gained 15,000 subs, but lost 11,000. 3 years ago, gained like 12 and lost 8. Still growth, but I know where it stems from. Me being honest about Tua. So I'm not pooping on Tua to save subs. I'm not pooping on Tua because it's unnecessary to poop on him. So yeah, I could be a little bit more coarse in my delivery. I mean, I just don't feel like it's necessary for me to say, "Oh, we got this trash quarterback and we need a real leader." No, I don't even have to talk about him. If you notice, I really ain't talking about him. I'm just talking about the circumstance in which we showing the difference in what real leadership is. I love for this to not actually even be about Tua. But one thing that the Dolphins will need in order to compete for Super Bowls is a legitimate franchise quarterback, and he's not one. And I've lost subscribers for saying that year after year after year. Man, some of y'all don't realize the numbers that get pushed. Like we gain over 10,000 every year. Think we get literally gain over 10,000 every year subscribers. But we might also lose 6. So the net gain might be 4. People get excited when we pumped and we winning and they subscribe. And then whenever in the middle of the week, like right now, when I start giving breakdowns of the team and telling the truth, then you start losing some of them. So I don't do this for subscribers and clicks. I don't. I've explained that a million times, by the way. But yeah. So, all right. Let's keep it moving though. Let's keep it moving. Wait, what? Let me get this here. All right. Got it. No, I know you've been here day one, BOFA. That's why I was like, it's making me wonder, is this a different BOFA? I know you have, but no, bro, I ain't never, I don't do that. I don't do it like that. All right. TD lost 2 in the ears. No, I lost some real Dolphin fans too, because they thought I was pooping on him and not being fair. Like, when things go well for the Dolphins and like, you know how there were times in the past where Tua will have an 80% completion day, right? 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Overall, it's a good day. And I'll say things like, I wasn't very happy with his ball placement today because you're leaving yak on the table. I'll say something like that. Oh, see, you can't even give him his props. And I'll even say, I think he had a solid day today. I just think he needs to be better at ball placement. And good Dolphin fans will be like, oh, man, you don't want to give him his credit when he's doing great. And then later on, we lose off of his ball placement or whatever. It's like, listen, you can't please everybody. You can't please everybody. No matter what way I go, it's gonna make somebody unhappy. That's why doing what I do, you don't worry about whatever people think, because it's none of your business. You just do you and be honest with yourself and have fun. And that's what I do, man. I don't pay attention to the count or like that. I mention the count when it's a threshold for the people who've been rocking with me for day one to celebrate. This isn't a competition. This is something I actually enjoy. Studying this team, understanding this team, breaking it down, and talking about what can bring a better future for the organization. So that's where I'm at with it. And thank God I get that luxury to do that for a living. That's like a blessing, man. And that's why I'm appreciative of all y'all supporting what we do. Big time. All right. All right. So let's move forward. We already know, like I said, you need a franchise quarterback. And the number one thing, that guy has to be a real leader. And he has to be able to back it up with his own play on the field. He got to make his teammates believe, as long as we got you, I believe we got a chance any week. Like legitimately believe that. Not because you got a big contract and you want to say that, like Tyreek would do. No, we all can see and we know if you're that type of guy. And our guy hasn't done anything to warrant that. He hasn't done anything to make us feel like as long as we got that guy, we can beat any team. Matter of fact, when we play the better teams, that's the guy, like our guy, we question the most. Is it cold weather? Is it a team above 500? Is it late in the season? Is it crunch time? What's the weather? What's the wind? Is the O-line gonna, you can't have that. You can't have that. All right. So number 5 is a good scouting team. Number 4 is a good coaching staff. And number 3 is a franchise quarterback. Let's move along to number 2. Number 2, a head coach that's all about business. You got to allow me to elaborate. A head coach that's all about business. We need a head coach that ain't trying to be buddy friends and build up players. I'm serious. That's what the position coaches and all of their job is. To be in the trenches, developing and building up. That's their job. I don't want my head coach to be your source of motivation and belief. Only time I want the coach to be that is in the game, halftime, timeout, all in the game. Outside of the game, I don't want my head coach to be that. And if he is that, I want you to feel it through his aura of how he carries himself every single day. I want my head coach to have a system of accountability, a system of expectations. You don't meet them, you're not on the team or the staff. This is what we're going to do, not what would you like to do. Not all that foosball and all these things that get taken away every year. This is your job. You don't have to like me. I'm your boss. This is your job. Show up to work on time. Be in all your meetings on time. Give me 110% on that field. And when it's all said and done, we'll sit down and talk about whether or not we want to continue to utilize you in the position. Period. Say no negotiation or kumbaya. We want everything positive. This is your job. And your job also determines how much you put into it. You are making a salary that would afford you to go home and invest in your job even more. It's no different from a working day-to-day middle class citizen of the United States of America. No difference. You commute to work like everybody else. You punch in and get out there and do your job like everybody else. And just like people who make a higher level of money, there ain't no 8-hour days. You're salaried. We expect you to go over and beyond your 8 hours and put the work in even at home. This is a business. I'm not falling in love with none of you. Do your job or we'll find somebody who will. And a matter of fact, even if you do your job, I don't plan on paying you. You're doing your job to afford us to trade you, to profit off of you. And somebody else, you have earned the right for them to pay you. because my scouting team going to bring me your replacement. The only way I'm going to pay you is if my scouting team messed up and I ain't got the replacement. And I don't plan on that being the case. This is a business transaction. I do not plan on having you here past 4 to 5 years. I don't plan on it. Not saying you won't, but that is not our plan. And let that be known. Point, period, blank. Everybody need to get their job done. And accountability. Why is this unit struggling? Them coaches need to have an answer. And I don't want to hear excuses. Put me together a plan that's going to change these results, or I'll put together a plan that's going to change you. It's that simple. We're dead last in the league in this area. What do we need to do now to change this? What's the plan? How can I literally evaluate the plan? Okay, you're saying that if we do this, and this, it'll fix that. All right, let's put it in the action. You got 3 weeks. It's not done. Can you please explain to me why? What didn't work in your plan? Oh, it was that? So was it a bad plan? Okay, well, let me get somebody who can make good plans. We don't have time to play around. Well, you got to allow guys to this and that, and this. Man, are you putting the work in? That's what it's about, man. And that's part of the problem. We're allowing the culture of the NFL to change, but low-key, the best teams in the league, they're not allowing it. They just low-key over there doing exactly what I'm explaining to y'all right now. We're following the more, I don't want to use choice words. We're following a group that is changing the culture of the NFL to a more passive, soft, non-accountable, feelings, emotional, all that standpoint. And I get it. People have feelings. You got people out here taking their own life because of their feelings. But your job being on the line, feelings don't care about that. You got to do your job and get it done. It's that simple. Winning organizations understand that. Why do you think when some players leave the Dolphins and they actually go to a real organization, it's like this, wow, I see the difference. Man, Jalen Phillips out here acting a fool, man. Not in a bad way. I'm just saying. He out here, man, grinning from ear to ear like, man, this is glorious, basically compared to where he coming from. That's how he act. I ain't never seen Jalen Phillips as live as he's been in those 2 interviews. Yeah, have y'all tell me in the chat, have y'all seen Jalen Phillips that live his entire time in Miami? Have y'all? Never seen this man. Who are you? You're a different guy. You free, lashing out and who are you? Never seen it. And that's the difference. That's the difference, man. He feel like a beast right now over there in Philly and playing like one too. You see what winning organizations and the culture can do? And when you get guys around each other, Frankie said honeymoon stage. Well, guess what? We were the newlyweds. Philly, his rebound. We were the newlyweds. We never got the honeymoon. So it's hard for me to say honeymoon stage, TD. Then where was ours? We would, and if we had one, it would have been better than the next one because it was the first one. We married them. Where was our honeymoon? That's why I can't accept honeymoon phases. No, it's love at first sight over there. I must have been a really bad partner. That's what it takes, man. A coach all about business. Y'all come to work and do your job. It's that simple. All right, y'all. It's time to reveal the top number one thing that the Miami Dolphins need to be real contenders. And let's recap that. Number 5 was a good scouting team. Number 4, a good coaching staff. Number 3, a franchise quarterback. Number 2, a coach all about business. And finally, number 1, a general manager who understands and agrees with this list. That's what you need. A general manager who understands and agrees with this list. And that general manager needs to make sure there's accountability on the head coach as well. That general manager needs to also be responsible for that scouting team on top of all of those prospects with the game plan of how we're going to maneuver this. The number one goal for the general manager needs to be, how can I find a guy who can replace my all-pro so I don't have to pay my all-pro or my pro bowler or my really good player? That should be the goal. We're such in debt in Miami that our goal is just finding a player to begin with. You're in debt when you're trying to find pieces to begin with. If your offseason isn't bringing in a succession plan, then you're behind as an organization. You have to be running so fine that every offseason, your main targets are guys who are going to replace the star that's currently on the roster. All pro left tackle, we got to find our next one fast. You got to find the next guy. You profit so massively if you find the next guy that's just as good. It's such an advantage in the NFL. People don't understand the compounding advantage that has. You drafted Waddle. Got nothing, no playoff wins his whole rookie year. Then you extended him, making him a 7 to 8 year guy, and about to go through a rebuild again. See, when we had Waddle, when we brought in Tyreek, we stopped right there. See, a succession plan, the next guy is already on the roster as the number 3, ready to take the number 2, ready for the 2 to move up to 1. No need for the Tyreek contract. Now you got $30 more million for better depth. And then you should be finding your next wide receiver after that. People think that, okay, we good at wide receiver, so that's not something we're going to get in the first round. See, I think that's part of the bigger problem, even in the NFL. We don't have one of those, so let's draft it in the first round. That's probably one of the bigger problems, because now you rely everything on that one piece to hit or miss. Now everything's on that draft pick hitting. If it doesn't hit, man, that was a massive L. Because you're going to give that first round pick opportunities. Even if they're bad, they're going to be on the field. That's typically how it works. I'm literally like, hey, if I got 2 top receivers in the league and I pick somewhere like 11 and the best player on the board is a receiver, people would be like, why would you get another receiver? And I'm like, you get it. Go get the young receiver. He's right there. They're hard to come by. So now you're about to have a whole year of 3 of them. But next year, I'm not paying the one that's due the big money, especially if the new guy works out. That's how you stay ahead and you save money. And now that left tackle that you can't find, or that corner you can't find, you actually got the money to go spend on it because you're behind, you're in debt. And when you do get in debt because you got somebody in free agency that's a big time at a position, the next year your first round pick should be that position. Your first round pick should be that position. Because you got to catch that position up out of its debt. It's a system. The general manager got to operate it flawlessly and be involved in every level of it. The general manager has to be able to get the best value he can for his players too, and make sure that he's shipping off players not too early or not too late. Also, not falling in love, getting personal, falling in love with a draft pick that you know deep down ain't it. But you're going to keep on going down the road because you don't want to take that L at certain picks. A good general manager will cut their losses sooner rather than later. Because one thing I've learned in the NFL, it ain't hard to get strung along. You could be ready to give up on a guy, and then he has 2 all-pro games. Like, wait, where did this come from? Oh, but that was the end of the season. Now they done bought themselves another year. And when you were legitimately thinking about moving on, but now all of a sudden it's a whole nother year now. This is the NFL. If a guy doesn't make you feel like he got it or can get it, stop playing. You move on. Time will tell. But this is what the Dolphins need to do. Langston said TD wants us to draft a receiver if he's the best pick in the draft, so we can never get him the ball with Tua and then give up 30 points a game. TD for GM, y'all. No, it's like I don't want you to draft the best receiver available. What I want you to do is identify your strength on the team, like what area of strength you have, and make sure that you identify if somebody's due to get paid soon. If they're due to get paid soon, try your best to find the young version of them and let them walk. So if A-Chain's due to get paid soon, I wouldn't even be mad in the first round if the Dolphins took a running back. I wouldn't be mad if they took yeah, I know they not, but I wouldn't be mad if they took if it's a great running back in the first round, I wouldn't be mad if they took him. And then they traded A-Chain for a second round pick. And now we got the newer version. I wouldn't be mad. And we profit off of A-Chain. We'll basically say we got 3-4 years, whatever, out of A-Chain. And he was drafted here, and we got a better pick than where he was drafted. And we didn't have to pay him the big bucks. Go get the next one. Same thing in the second round. Same thing in the second round. Who we got? What positions are good? And I understand the Dolphins ain't got a lot of good positions, so that's tough. So it's a lot of fixing, but you got to start. You got to start. It's so daunting in Miami that it'll discourage you from starting. Think about it. What's the future of our wide receiver core? Waddle, and that's it. That's it. That's the future. I'll go in the second round and give you another receiver. We got to get caught up. All across the roster, man. Go get your players. Draft them. That's why you need that good scouting team, because you're going to have to find me some really good players. Miami Heat Sports said, TD, those Tua stats made you leave today. What happened? I'm going to assume that you're talking about the Dolphins Collective. When Doug was reading off the stats, I missed it. My power went out and my internet went out earlier, and I missed that part, but I did go back to listen to it, and it did look, and I was frozen on the screen the whole time. But so I didn't leave because of that. That wouldn't make sense. But it was interesting to me though when he read it. He read Tua's number and everybody who Tua was better than. But for some reason, he didn't read everybody that was better than Tua. He didn't read the probably 15 names that were better than Tua. He just read off who wasn't, like Burrow, Herbert, and guys like that, who aren't better than Tua in yards per attempt. I mean, per completion. They dink and dunk too. This was just about quarterback accuracy, not anything about who better or anything. There's nothing wrong with getting what's right there in front of you, the dinking and dunking. A lot of quarterbacks do it. This wasn't a point of, oh, he dinks and dunks, so he's bad. No, this was just about accuracy. And his average depth of target is like middle of the pack in the NFL as far as completions. It's middle of the pack. So when he read it off, all you heard were the people who Tua was better than. But he never read who was better than Tua. and he's about in the middle of the pack, like 15th or 16th in the league. So I would have actually have really loved for my internet and power to not go out so that I could articulate that fact for everybody who was watching, because it made it seem like, oh yeah, see, he is the most accurate. No, you just listed all people who are also that don't even have a high depth of target. So I wouldn't have needed to run. I trust me. I live for those. I usually don't even ask questions like that unless I already know the answer. So I already knew the answer. I already knew what it was. But yeah. Omar called you out for not calling in. Nah, the power was out anyway. And then I had to go down there and light some candles for the family and stuff. So, and Doug, I had already texted Doug, and they were like, they about to wrap up anyway. So that's why I didn't hop in. Then 7 minutes later, I looked, they still on. So that's what happened. Omar just messing around, by the way. But yeah. They were pushing back on your Juju Brents take too. Listen, man, I watched the game and I watched the film. Juju Brents was getting cooked. I don't know what everybody else is. You know what? I know people don't listen to PFF, but let's see. I wonder if they have it. I wonder if they got him at an 80. Like they make it seem like you're balling or something. Let me see. Juju Brents PFF. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he graded out real high. Let me see. All right, I'll pull it up. I'm for the share screen. I know what I saw, man. All right, here we go. Juju Brents is pulling up now. All right. So he's having a good year with us. So that's good. So he might have had a good game. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's look at the games. See, man, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Let me pull it up for y'all. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know PFF ain't the gospel, but come on, man. I know what I'm talking about. I'm sitting there watching this game, just like everybody else. Worst game, at least from a grading standpoint. Worst game. Coverage grade. Worst one this season. And again, some of y'all don't care for PFF, but I know what I saw on film. Now, some of it looked hard because it was his guy, but then he faded off in the zone at times. So I said, well, I ain't going to knock him for that one. That was a wide open receiver that he was trailing, but then it was out of his zone and he faded off. So I ain't going to worry about that. But I was watching plays where he was getting beat. I was watching stuff he was getting beat. Talk about NFL corruption, PFF selling grades. Hey, listen, I don't think Juju Brents paid for this one. Selling grades, however you want to slice it. I don't think he paid for this one. And again, I can go back and look at the film a little more, and I'll see. But this is night and day. This is night and day. His worst numbers in every category. I knew what I saw. And again, you don't have to take PFF. I watched the game like all y'all. Every time I looked up, oh, Juju Brents got beat on that one. Oh, Juju Brents. I'm watching the same game everybody else watching. I don't even know what plays they are like, oh, he made a play there. Maybe a tackle. Maybe they remember him making some tackles. I don't know. Let me see, man. Yeah, I'm looking at the key. I'm like, he ain't had no batted passes. Tackle, 4 tackles. That's good. He had 4 tackles. That's really good. He gave up the pass that was targeted to him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're looking at. Juju out for the season, so it really does not matter. Well, it matters, Frankie, because even the new GM got a decision to make, because they got to ask themselves, even though he's under contract, is this a guy that you want to continue with? You know, and what do they think of him so far? Great game, Buffalo, but is that who he is? You know what I mean? Not so good, Washington. You want to start to know who the players are. So when they get hurt, all you got to go off of is what they have. So, yeah. That's how I think. I don't know. I just didn't see it on the field. I didn't see the plays he made. I didn't see, yeah. I mean, I remember some tackles, but as far as coverage and everything, I could distinctly remember about 4 times in that game, literally saying, "Oh man, oh that was Juju Brents. He's the trailer." Like I just kept saying it, and then all of a sudden he got hurt. I was like, "Ooh." So, yeah, man. Oh, Doug here. CCRR said Doug hiding in the shadows. If I was hiding, would I talk in the chat? Oh Lord, we got spicy Doug tonight. Y'all going back and forth? PFF is kind of the only way to see if someone is good, like O-line. No, I mean, like I always tell y'all, PFF ain't the gospel at all. But it is data. Now, if you don't like that grading system, okay, but it is data. And typically when you have a system of data, it can have variance as far as plus minus on its accuracy, but it's still a good gauge. Usually when they have somebody rated a 50, maybe they ain't as bad as a 50, but they still bad. It's still bad. So yeah, no, whenever I see my guy is live, I always listen. Gotta support my guy always, man. Bro, I just ignore people's comment when they try to pin us, like almost like pin us against each other. Not saying you're doing that, CCRR. I'm just saying, like, when people do, I don't even be paying it no mind. I just noticed something. How you not a mod, Doug? They don't even make no sense. And why won't it allow me to make you? That is weird. There it is. All right, cool. I think it's when you did the clean sweep. It's all good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about 2 to 3 times a year. Just so y'all know, I delete all the mods like 2-3 times a year because we always get like two people that infiltrate the mods and start blocking people and stuff. Because sometimes I'll add somebody as a mod, but I clicked on the wrong person. and then they'll start blocking people and timing them out. So, and I don't be knowing who do it, so I just delete all mods. And then for 2 months, I got to answer to people, what did I do? Why did you take my mod? Nothing personal at all. It just happens twice a year. Just bug me in the chat and I'll put it back. It's that simple. That simple. But yeah, but also all the people that I block, like every 4-5 months, I unblock them because people change. People change. They become better people in life. You know, I want to always give them an opportunity to change from being hateful. Because we don't block nobody, by the way, unless you're disrespectful. So yeah. But yeah, man, those are my 5 things that I think the Dolphins need to compete for a Super Bowl. Again, number 5, a good scouting team. Number 4, a good coaching staff. Number 3, a franchise quarterback. Number 2, a head coach that's all about business. And number 1, a general manager who agrees with these 5, including himself. So that's what the Dolphins need. But thank y'all for tuning in. It's after midnight. I'm about to go get some sleep. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. And y'all stay blessed. I will see you tomorrow, Doug. I love you, man. I'll see you tomorrow, brother. And Color, I see you in the building. Flick Short, everybody who rock with the channel. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Doug Williams. Everybody. All right. Miami Heat Shorts. CCRR. Everybody. All right. I'll see y'all later. Peace. I'm out.